We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, the Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundaries. We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love.
For over 85 years, the ministries of the Church of the Larger Fellowship have circled the globe and crossed the walls of prisons. We are a spiritual lifeline for our over 2,000 members in prison, who are also connected to individual Unitarian Universalists through our letter writing ministry.
In our online community, we offer weekly worship, classes, and groups. Our monthly magazine, Quest, supports the spiritual lives of thousands around the globe. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance.
We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship.
We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, known affectionately as The View.
The View is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective.
Since 2013, we have gathered every Thursday from September to June to welcome guests from around the world.
Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond.
We hope that today's show inspires you. We hope it builds your faith and gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life.
Welcome to The View.
Hello, welcome to The View. I'm Aisha Hauser. My pronouns are she and her, and I am honored to be one half of the lead ministry team of the Church of the Larger Fellowship. I come to you from the land of the Coast Salish people, also known as rainy and cloudy Seattle, Washington, which is the second hilliest city in the United States, second only to San Francisco, which surprises people when they move here. I have black curly hair, gray glasses, and I'm wearing keffiyeh, symbol of liberation for the Palestinian people. Co-lead, Reverend Dr. Michael, how are you? Where are you?
Oh, I am having a week. Greetings, beloveds. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino, the other half of the lead ministry team of your Church of the Larger Fellowship, this Unitarian Universalist congregation without borders or walls. And I am coming to you from rainy Peekskill, New York, the land of the Kitchewan, Wappinger, and Munsee Lenape peoples, just a little north of New York City. It is. We have plunged headfirst into spring here. There is still snow on the ground that is melting rapidly because it is 50 degrees and raining today, and the rain is just washing it away. And the crocuses have sprouted, and the ones closest to my house have buds on them. They have not opened yet. They wait for a sunny day to open, so they ain't gonna open today. They probably ain't gonna open tomorrow. It's okay. Those of you who follow me on Facebook will see when they open, and I will probably announce it in worship and on The View because it is my personal new year every year when the crocuses bloom, and it has been a delayed new year thanks to the long, cold, lonely winter here. And life is bananas right now, and I'm managing the bananas. I'm managing the bananas. It's that's what I'm doing. I'm a banana manager. I should put that in LinkedIn.
Yes.
Skills, banana manager. Dante Hilliard, how are you? You're muted. Just so you know.
Well, you don't want that to be misunderstood. Welcome to The View, everyone. I am the Reverend Dante Hilliard. I use he, him we, they, she, her, if you know me like that, or whatever is respectful. And I am here in the land of the Council of Three Fires, which includes the Ottawa people, the Potawatomi, and the Ojibwe peoples, also known as Chicago, Illinois, USA. It is cold. It is cool and rainy here. But, compared to that cold spell we had a week or so ago, this is summer. So no complaints. DC, what's going on?
I apparently am the only one that has sunshine. You can see, you can't see up there, but I got windows up there that are telling me there's sunshine coming in. I am Reverend DC Fortune, he, him pronouns, and I am coming to you from the banks of the Androscoggin River in Auburn, Maine, ancestral home of the Abenaki Council, including the Penobscot, Micmac, and I'm brain cramped. Anyway, yes, here, and spring is threatening to happen. I woke up yesterday and there was 5 fresh inches of snow on the ground, which really offended me at a real deep level. But then the weather forecast was for 50 degrees. So I'm like, screw it. Mother Nature put it down. She can take it up. And I got home from work yesterday. It was mostly all melted. So yeah, that's good. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, it's been a week all over the place, hasn't it? Yeah. I'm glad we're here.
So apparently we attacked a country, and there's controversy about whether or not we're at war. But the thing about the United States here is, I think out of our entire 250-year history, if I understand history correctly, I think there's only been 2 years that we weren't actively bombing or attacking someone on the planet. So we are a perpetually at war institution because we are fucking ridiculous. So we bombed Iran, and it's Iran, not Iran. It's Iran. And with no plan, murdered a school of girls, 160 girls so far. There's no plan. And I just saw a clip of the Daily Show where they asked our current president about who the succession is, and then he just proceeded to say, well, we had a plan and he's dead, and then another guy and he's dead. They're all dead, and maybe the other guy will be worse. Yeah. So welcome to February. No, where are we? March. Jesus Christ, it's fucking March. I'm gonna be quiet because I can't.
12:08.
So Darby in Texas tells us that the pollinating is happening there. Apparently, Aisha, you and I escaped right before the trees all had their orgy.
We were the last planes out,
That's
Michael.
right, because Aisha and I were both in Austin,
That's
Texas this past Saturday.
Baby, if you have allergies, do not go down yonder in the middle of the summer. Woo, my goodness. Y'all almost killed me.
Oh, no.
They have a special name there for the allergies that happen. It's called cedar fever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When the cedar trees release their pollen in giant big yellow clouds.
Oh yeah, it looks like Pittsburgh of the old days.
Oh wow. Before climate change?
Well, Pittsburgh when the steel factories were belching yellow,
belching
smoke.
that sulfuric yellow crud into the air.
Except it's natural. It's all natural. It's cedar pollen, and in North Carolina it's pine pollen, but it's the same thing.
You know what?
Refer to
arsenic is natural too. Doesn't mean it's good for you.
No, you are right.
Wow. So on a day where we are inviting a conversation about community and belonging, it is complex, right? We also have a country, we live in the United States, the belly of the beast of empire, that continues to truly wreak havoc on the planet. So we still want to center community and belonging.
We gotta.
How do we best do that? Give us the answers, View team.
Well, I don't want to make light of of militarized destruction of people's communities. But I think I also want to be clear that war does not just involve bombs. The West has been extracting the resources of the African continent for a very long time. We've been at war on European countries have been warring against people of color nations for a really, really long time, sucking the life and resources out of them, one at a time. So a death by 1,000 cuts or a bomb.
Yeah.
One is more dramatic, but
They
lead in the same direction.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, the thing that's okay. So one of the things I've been telling people, whoever asks me, especially here in Seattle, I'm walking my dog and I say, "Hi, how are you?" And more likely than not, someone who I don't see very often will say, "Well, I'm really worried about the state of the world." I said, "Well, we cannot control bombing or not bombing. What we can do is be hyper local. Get to know your neighbors. Know your neighbors' names." And I may have said this before, but when I presented this at a beloved community gathering, somebody said, "Well, what if my neighbor supports ICE?" I said, "Well, then that's information for you, but it is still important to know who your neighbors are. That is more information for you. That person is not getting invited to the ICE rapid response training." But, so you can have clarity, and we occupy the same street, the same space. I walk often because I have a big dog that needs to walk a couple times a day at least. And so I start to recognize people who exist alongside me. The more people who know my name and I know their name, the more we build community and relationality and proximity. At least we know who we are. Beyond that, no, you're not going to have everybody at your house because that's not realistic. And you don't have to be best friends with everyone. But what does it mean to be part of a community and to belong? I think part of the challenge in the United States is because it's not inherent in any United States culture to create, to be relational. I think people think community and belonging automatically means, a thing like, oh, we now have to be best friends. We don't have to be, but we can care about each other whether or not we share exactly. We can care about each other because of different things, and it's important we're in the same community. Am I making sense?
And, I've done some conflict work in congregations, and I tell people, you not only don't have to be best friends, you don't even have to like each other.
Yeah.
To care about each other.
That's right.
Right? You don't have to like each other to love each other. And to care about each other's well-being.
Right.
And to listen to one another. Like, you don't have to have each other over to dinner at y'all's houses, right? It's
and I'm me doing the Dante thing. I also want to remind myself that if you live in a neighborhood where you feel safe building relationships with the people who live around you, that's a blessing. That's a privilege. Because everybody don't feel safe, even in the neighborhoods they live.
Yep.
Because you don't know who is what, who believes what, who who is inclined to bring you harm either. So I get it, and that community and belonging. Again, as a people who live in a diaspora, our concepts of community and belonging have had to be detethered from physical spaces often.
Ooh, say that.
For our survival. and
Yeah.
thriving.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yes.
So
Yeah.
before we get too deep into that, our view viewers, welcome Darby and Leilani and Nicole and all the folks who are watching the show today or listening to our podcast. Our live viewers are also noting that the United States military is now involved in Ecuador,
That was fucking true. I saw that
which-
somewhere and I thought it was a joke.
which is different than Iran because it is actually at the invitation of the Ecuadorian
Oh.
government, and it is not different in that it is also United States military enforcing our global dominance and imperialism in the world, right? So like we probably pressured the Ecuadorian government into inviting us in. It's a whole big, pile of bullshit, and it's like it's different and it's not is what I want to say.
Can I ask before we thank you? I'm sorry I jumped in there, Michael. With
No, it's
my
all right.
reaction, but I
I just
truly
want
thought-
like our live viewers are welcoming each
Thank
other
you.
and wondering
So,
if we'd mentioned
I'm
that.
going to ask the live viewers, somebody Google this because I don't know if this is true. Now I'm like, I'm really trying. I can't do a complete news fast, but I'm trying to limit because I want my nervous system to not go in overdrive. So somebody said, we're running out of guns. The troops are running out of ammunition. Maybe ammunition. But I'm like,
Well,
how?
they're never running out. They just buy more.
That's what I
Right,
said.
but it needs to be shipped there. So it's in
Oh.
warehouses here, but they only have so much in stockpiles at bases around the world.
I can't. I don't even. We're like, anyway, whatever.
And,
Okay.
and welcome to Valencia Robin. It's her first.
Yes,
it's her first time here.
welcome.
Oh, yay! And Laura Beaumont, yay! So anybody first time here, we are salty.
Yeah, yeah.
Content warning. So if that offends you, this may not be the show for you. And if it doesn't, welcome to the fucking
Is
view.
it salty or spicy?
We are both salty and spicy.
Yes,
We are both.
as are the best things.
As are the best things.
We are like, habanero chips.
In the best possible way. But I think, United States, Barack Obama in 2000 and somewhere before he was first elected, gave a speech I believe it was in New Hampshire when he called the United States the unlikely story that is America. And I think United States has always been this duality of the worst of humanity, enslavement, genocide, manifest destiny, oppression, white supremacy, and the potential of the best.
Mhm.
Minneapolis, how we resist oppression, the Black Panther Party, the Standing Rock. I mean, there's also been the opportunity for. I'm sorry, Dante's going to interrupt me. I'm just saying, I think it's both. I think I have experienced in the United States or witnessed the best of who we can be in terms of bringing diversity together, and the worst.
Yes, I agree. And it seems if we look at the historical record, but that best part mostly comes from the people who are on the shit end of the stick.
I said that. I didn't say it that way. Yes.
But look, whatever that good part is, comes from the people who've been getting their asses kicked.
And trying to make it different.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, look at we got a comment from Catherine Childs. Hello, Canada.
Hi, Catherine.
Wondering how much that tendency to isolation is built on a social world in which moving away from places we're born for white people is a very normal part of our North American experience. And with no competency in that diaspora. Somebody say that for me?
Diasporatic
analysis that Dante mentioned. So
We should have Catherine Childs on the show.
We need to have Catherine Childs on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been too long.
Consider
Catherine,
this
I'll get in touch about
invitation.
setting up a date.
I think it's a byproduct of patriarchy, really, actually not, I mean, yes, patriarchy, but violent extractive capitalism, because who benefits from isolation? Who benefits from communities not experiencing themselves as a community? What is that?
Oppressors.
Right. But violent extractive capitalism and white supremacy culture are like twinsies.
Yeah.
They were born in the same womb, right? So
Yeah.
I'll get that for folks.
Right. And Leilani points out extractive toxic capitalism has also divorced us from community practices. And because it maintains extractive capitalism, right? Toxic. So when we say joy is an act of resistance, so is community connection, so is creating opportunities for belonging, is not only an act of resistance, it is the way we are going to defeat this. It is absolutely the way we're going to defeat this.
Anything that prioritizes something other than being part of production of wealth.
Say that
for the elite few, right? I mean, because we're taught in capitalist societies that the measure of our worth is how much wealth we produce for people who are not us. Let's just be clear.
Right.
And so anything, we talk about rest as resistance. We talk about joy as resistance. We talk about community care as resistance. All of these things prioritize things other than production.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Darby, God bless you. To Dante's point, the folks taking the best care of the Minneapolis community isn't the city government, it's the Smitten Kitten, which is a sex toy shop and resource center.
Yeah.
And back to Catherine's point earlier about diasporic analysis. One of the reasons that it's hard to hold a diasporic analysis is because diasporic analysis requires you to release the concept of cultural purity.
Oh, say that again.
Please say it again, one more time. No, really, I need my brain to have those words.
Requires you to release the fantasy of cultural purity. This is something that, if you read the Hebrew Bible, that there's clear struggle in the text around that. It is definitely a part of Pan-Africanism and the notion of sort of a global African diaspora. The issues between Black people in North America, South America, and Central America, and African continent. It's about the issues usually rotate around concept of cultural purity. And it's interesting that Pan-Africanism is born from Black people in the Americas. Because we have no choice but to let go of cultural purity. We literally have to start over. Or those of us in the Americas.
Right, because your ancestors were ripped out of their cultures.
Right.
Forcibly.
Yeah. With no real yes, there were movements of repatriating but it was never a practical thing.
So Nicole asks us to give us a quick definition of what you mean by cultural purity.
Okay, cultural purity is when we think about the African diaspora, some might say, well, real Africans are on the continent of Africa, and they know who their people are. They know who their traditions, they know their language, they know the symbol systems, so some folks would say, well, no, you're not an African, you're an American. And Black people in the Americas have been saying, we don't surrender our Africanity because somebody kidnapped us. You don't get to take my Africanity. And in fact, if you investigate our culture, you will see that our Africanity has never disappeared. So, again, and Western culture is obsessed with purity. Race is all about purity. It's about biological purity. right?
Right.
Well,
Like one drop, right?
one drop of
Eugenics.
black blood makes you black under racism, under white supremacy, because it's an obsession with purity. Humans have had some obsessions around purity.
Well, and then the Europeans making this list like defined levels of purity within white people too, and within non-black people of color, right? Like, and it all went down to sort of like how light your skin was, mostly.
The reason that trans people catch hell in the West is because of people's belief in biological purity.
Right. So
Is that rooted in the Abrahamic faiths? Is that rooted still in the idea of whatever erasing our sin is? Like what I mean, I know, yes, empire and colonization, but even the idea of purity, is that biblical?
I mean, there are certain if you read the codes, the laws of ancient Hebrews, there's a lot of concern about purity. A lot of concerns around purity. I don't see it as, I don't think our modern obsessions with purity are like causal, like it's because it's in these traditions. I think humans who learn to live in isolation and then were, through forces often of not their own choosing, began to have to interact with many different people. I think the globalizing of our world created, some people were going to resist that change and other people will embrace that change. And that is a dynamic that is not just of the West. It is theories of change. Almost any theory of change could explain this sort of contraction and then an expansion, then a contraction. Or sometimes some parts are contracting while other parts are expanding, right? Because it requires you to change your worldview. My ancestors didn't really have much of a choice. We had to change our worldview.
For survival.
Yeah.
Oof.
But again, if you look at all the negative rhetoric around trans-identified people and non-binary folk, right? It all goes back to some notion of biological destiny and purity.
Which is also ableist.
You're just a man in a dress. You're just a this. You're just like, it's all because, again, that West now. Well, I would say it actually goes back more to the European Enlightenment than to the Abrahamic faiths, even though that stuff probably feeds in. Right.
Yeah.
And ableism is all wrapped up in body purity.
In what?
Body
purity. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like your body has to be a certain thing.
Right.
Certain size and certain shape and certain color and capable of certain
abilities,
behaviors.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all connected, right?
It's all connected to some ideal that doesn't exist. And imagine if we spent our time in caring instead of controlling and saying we're supposed to be a certain way. Well, what would it look like if we didn't have arbitrary standards for existence? That's what it feels like. It's like, what are we supposed to what fucking end? I don't even listen, I wish they'd give me an hour with these people in Washington and I'd sit down with all of them or as many
God, we can solve the national debt with the pay-per-view.
I mean, the thing is this. I would approach with a lot of curiosity and wondering questions because I don't think these people are very self-reflective. They're not going to listen to me, but it's more like, okay, billionaire jillionaires, you own everything now. You get to do what is it that you want? I guess what do they think they want? Do they okay, so you own everything. Now what? Like, is it a never ending black hole or is it you're not going to live forever? Is that what you want? Like grieve the fact that you're not going to live forever. Pete Ellison or whatever the fuck his name is. Bezos, like whatever. It's like y'all aren't going to live forever. You're not going to always, have the thing that you have now. And maybe they need grief work. That's what it is. We need to sit the billionaires down and do grief work, that they are human.
They're trying to fill an internal hole in their soul with all of the trappings of external world.
Right.
And it ain't going to work.
No, it doesn't.
And I haven't got a lot monetarily, but I have something that those guys don't have and will never have, and that is enough.
Say more.
They're never going to have enough. If I don't get more money than this in my lifetime, I'll be okay. Right? I'll be okay. Like I know how to like my money, my bank account does not determine my value.
And that there is a freedom in that, isn't there? There's
right. I'm a whole human as I am.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is all decoration, but I don't have that aching need to fill that emptiness. I see people.
My connection.
It's so beautiful. Asia disappeared.
Yeah, my internet's being goofy.
So, but I mean, in recovery programs, we talk about that, trying to fill the inside with stuff from the outside, and it's a pretty simple metaphor, but I think it's really accessible, it's easy to grasp, and it really illustrates in a clear, simple way what's going on in a way that, psychologists would spend hundreds of forests on paper writing articles in peer-reviewed journals, right?
Well, and to your point, Aisha, until they do the psychological and spiritual work to fill that hole, which is the only thing that can fill the hole, it is an empty, it is a black hole. It is a never able to be filled black hole. Yeah. Because it can't be filled with stuff.
And we're paying for it. That's what these wars are all about. AI, all of it. It's like, what is happening? It's not yeah. You know what somebody made a point about? When we went into lockdown, and it is March, we are the 6th anniversary of the lockdown. You know what people did? And we had all the access to the internet. They baked bread. Sourdough.
Right? Yeah.
Learned how TikTok, yes, people learned dances, but that's what took off is dancing, making sourdough, cooking.
Arts, creativity.
I've got a freaking
maybe a lot of people got real kinky during the pandemic too. Kink practices really expanded, and their presence on Beyonce's internet really expanded too during lockdown.
I have no comment to that, but here's what else.
It's bodily, it's tactile, it helps regulate our nervous systems. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I remember about 6 or 8 months into the beginning of the shutdown, I realized I had not touched another person's skin in that whole time.
Yeah.
I live alone. I mean, I had my cats, I had Quinn, my little dog. But the only time I got physical touch was when the gal at the grocery store handed me back my change. Right? And that was brutal. Yeah. That was really, really hard.
And I got into a lot of heated conversations during lockdown because there were a lot of social distance purists shaming people who started doing what we've later developed language around as potting, right? Like people who
make your pot.
Like, and my thing was, if you don't know what it's like to go for years without ever being touched, don't you dare
shut up.
Shame these people. Shame people for connecting, and I think it was actually, as a member of kink community, I think it was particularly difficult for kinksters because the way that we socialize is through our kink practice. So the pandemic created, which is interesting because it was a pandemic that expanded kink practice in the West. it was HIV/AIDS, right? When we were looking for alternatives to things that might kill us, right? And then in this pandemic, we had to create distance from those practices to protect ourselves and our families. So, yeah, I mean, community. When we talk about community and belonging, we also have to remember that shit is real contextual. Because what constitutes community and belonging under certain contexts don't work so much in others. And in many ways, you know, Aisha, was reflecting on something you said earlier about how this thing is going on and on. I was like, I would like to call our attention to, we cannot underestimate the power of human storytelling. Human storytelling is probably the most ancient of our technologies. And everything that we love and hate in this world is connected to a story.
Oof.
And this, which is why, for me, I orient to worship as a human technology of community and belonging. Now, I was raised that worship was for God, that it's something that we do to appease. But, you know, oh, I love you. You're so amazing. Oh, thank you for your promises, and gratitude for both, like, for expressions of like love, devotion, and gratitude.
Yeah.
To this God who makes these things possible. But if you look at worship anthropologically and community rituals,
right,
anthropologically, they are it's a human technology for building community and belonging. And for social transformation. We envision it and we practice it together.
Worship, you're saying?
Yes.
So interestingly, I'm going to come on a journey with me. So when I was growing up in the 80s, a lot of the things I heard was, I think we all are Gen Xers within a few years of each other, the breakdown of the, you know, people aren't going to church, or the breakdown of the family, right? I think what Christian nationalists, when they say that, they understand exactly what you said. And I think Unitarians and leftist, more leaning theologies understand that too. Where we agree with the Christian nationalists, where I agree, I'll speak for myself, is it is important that people find community and communities that honor the sacred. Where we disagree is, like, I want communities that honor the sacred, whether they be Wiccan or, you know, Reformed Jewish or liberal Christian or Unitarian Universalist, is that I want that affirmation of the holy and the sacred to be an affirmation of life, not control, to be about care, not control. But having the spaces to be part of communities to affirm the sacred, yes, but not in service to empire.
But I think that those people who hoard wealth and power don't feel a sense of community and belonging.
Oh, no, they don't.
That's part of the hole they're trying to fill.
They couldn't operate like that if they did.
They sure don't. Oh, no.
That's part of the hole they can't fill.
That is part of the hole they can't fill.
And they're trying to fill it like trying to fill the hole in the bottom of a boat by shooting more holes into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly
I mean, all of their efforts do nothing but make the hole bigger.
And there's such a, I mean, and it's, the consequences are death and destruction and oppression. So it's hard for me to have empathy for them. And I also feel a sense of, they have been failed by this extractive system that put them in power, and we allowed all this money hoarding there's always been opposition. Let's be clear. There's always been opposition to empire. Always, 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 always. When there's been empire, there's been opposition. And right now, I think my biggest disappointment in humanity, we have the tools right now in 2020, in the Gregorian calendar 2026, to be wonderful and exciting and lean into art and love and but we choose destruction and death. We, the collective. And that is a puzzle to me. I walk my dog every day. I don't bring my phone because I'm not a great meditator and I'm not great at spiritual practice. But I decided I won't bring my phone when I walk Gracie. I try to take her for at least a half hour. And that's when I do my thinking. And at least once a day, I think, why are we blowing it? We have such, the internet is an amazing thing. The four of us are in all over the place, 4 different places across the United States. And we get to meet each week and shoot the shit. And yet we are destroying things. So that's my rant. I don't understand.
Well, and when we want to spend money on schools or healthcare, it's like, oh, where's that money coming from?
The war budget.
We're
That's where
spending
it's
$1
coming
billion a day bombing Iran right now. Right now, the United States is spending $1 billion a day.
That's
Simply
infuriating.
bombing Iran.
Infuriating.
So
We need to bring back smiting.
and nobody says, oh, where's that $1 billion a day coming from? Nobody says that.
Nobody says that.
I mean, I'm saying it. I'm saying it, but whose food, like whose food stamps are not going to get paid for because we're spending $1 billion a day? Is really,
It's the hierarchy of who's worthy and not worthy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dante.
I was just gonna say, and I don't think anybody on this screen is not aware that war makes money.
I mean,
and whenever the United States finds itself in a
it makes
a bad economic situation, war is often one of the solutions that just coincidentally somehow happens during those moments. Okay, Reverend Michael, go ahead.
No, it makes money for the people with money.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be clear. Just to be clear. I just like, I think we all know how capitalism works, right?
We all get more of what we've got. For some, it's more money, and for others, it's more nothing.
So, but Aisha, I think the reason that humans developed religious, ethical, and mystical systems were because of the observations of this propensity to what happens when people are disconnected, when people are not in community, do not have a sense of belonging.
And people will look for belonging. And right now, we're seeing it in the worst possible ways. The people who follow, Nick Fuentes, who followed Charlie Kirk, and now following MAGA. I mean, people will look for ways to belong. We will. We are wired for it. And so, part of what we're seeing here is also a disinvestment in public education for the past 60 years. So there's also, we're filling the holes in our knowledge with stories. Go ahead, Michael.
And part of the belonging, like part of the misguided, toxic finding belonging that's happening, we talked about before the show. So just to let you all in to the chit chatter that we were having before the show, leaders in United States government and military are openly telling the troops that the war that we are currently engaged in is to bring about Armageddon, right? It is to bring about like some Christian dominionist end times, and like even the fantasy
based
that would happen is
the hallucinations of a Bronze Age prophet.
But to seek a world that is only the pure would be left, right? Right, and only the people who are left would all belong,
Right.
Um,
But and as I was saying, in part of that chit chat is, but the irony of them sort of leaning into this story is that, you know, most credible theologians would tell you that the story of the book of Revelations in the Christian Testament that closes out the Christian Testament is actually a fantasy about the end of empire. It is about the end of empire, not about the beginning of a new empire.
That seems like an important point that's been missed.
That remember that the Hebrew Bible is written by people who are colonized or who have been co-opted by other cultures. Like most of what we know is as the Hebrew Bible is written by people who have been captured by another power.
Right.
Yeah.
So much of the theologizing of the ancient text is of people struggling with who is the God that we love, who has also allowed these people to come and force themselves upon us.
Mm-hmm.
And if our God is who our God says, who we've been taught our God is, then our God has to rescue us from this. And maybe we haven't been rescued because we did something wrong. So let's try to work on and think about it. Let us work on ourselves. Let's do our shadow work. The things that we are doing that may be preventing our God from rescuing us from this.
Well, and that's the story, right? But what if the story was we are actually here to take care of each other? We're not waiting for somebody to come from the sky on horses. I don't know what the story is. But like, what if it's we are who can work together? It's like the story about the guy who, you know, there was a flood, he's on top of the house, a boat comes, a plane comes, and he says, no, God's gonna save me, and then at the end he said, God, why didn't you save me? He said, I sent you a boat, I sent you a plane, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it feels like that. It feels like there's a segment of humanity that is waiting for something when we are the things.
Well, see, that's like, if we have to own responsibility for it, that means we have to do some work, and we'd much rather wait for somebody to come in and rescue us.
Well, also, if we look at the ancient text of any faith tradition, what happens if we look at these texts as stories and metaphors for how we are because again, occupied people can't just say down with these motherfuckers who are oppressing us. You have to articulate your resistance in very particular ways. So these narratives and metaphors and allegories are also protective devices of oppressed people.
Yes.
And perhaps the problem is we moderns are a little too dumb, too smart dumb for our own good.
Yep.
Because those people may have never understood them as historical documents.
That's right.
Understood them as oral tradition, which they all were before they were ever written.
Right. That's right. They understood them to be allegories, to be metaphors, to be not as historical fact. The flood didn't happen, people. Anyway, not that flood. Anyway.
And again, and even if I think the storytelling part of this and worship as a form of communal storytelling is important because the one thing that oppressed people need is hope. And the only way to feed hope to an oppressed person is through the imagination.
Ooh, yes, say that.
When everything around you says you're going to die in this, everything around you says you're going to die in this.
Right.
The only thing that can save you is your imagination.
Oof.
You need that on a t-shirt, Darby. You just let me know.
Yeah. We suffer from a lack of imagination for good. We seem to have a lot of imagination for fuck shit that gets funded. Let's cage children. Let's build walls across an entire wacky shit. But let's feed children. Suddenly, like you said, Michael, how are we going to find the money for that? Let's make it. This is all made up. We can make up different stories.
Yeah. And again, you're right. I know we could build a world where everyone has enough because we already have enough. Yeah. And I know it historically because Black women in the 1800s raised money and built hospitals and orphanages and schools for the people in their community. Some of the most oppressed people in the Western world. So if they could do that with the social and economic constraints that they were faced with, that means the only thing that's keeping us from freedom is our lack of imagination and the will to embody it.
That is the only thing, truly.
Well, it's one of the reasons why when I talk about prison abolition or abolition, which is more than just prison abolition, I start by engaging people's imagination. Because we have to be able to imagine the world in which prisons are not necessary. If we're ever going to have a chance of getting there, we have to be able to imagine it. We have to be able to imagine the world in which war does not happen.
I think Carol's asking a very good question, Michael. You may want to put on the screen.
Let's put it on the screen. How do we keep our imagination for good when things are so horrible?
We have to practice using it.
Yes.
That's what worship is for.
You want any muscle to get strong, you got to use it.
Well, and to me, it's necessary to like wake up and do something tomorrow, right? And the worse things are, the more necessary it becomes.
Yes. Imagine, what if faith and imagination are the same thing?
Well, Dante, you have often talked about that the work of the religious community is essentially conjuring the future we want to build by naming it.
Yeah, naming it, embodying it, and rehearsing it. Oh, to me, that's what's the point of worship if it's not, to me, I don't go to worship just to see people. I don't go to worship to sort of shore up my slot in heaven. I don't go to worship out of, I want to perform piety. For me, worship is an opportunity to practice and cultivate my shared values in community. And guess what we need to practice that? We need vulnerability. But it ain't safe for us to be that vulnerable out here. But worship community should be a place where we can take off some of that armor, some of those masks, and allow our vulnerability to breathe. And our imagination.
Exactly. And thank you. And I also will say, part of fascism and oppression and systems of oppression, the way they thrive is to keep people afraid. When you lean into expanding your imagination for good, you are literally fighting fascism, literally. When you invite your friend out and say, let's go for a walk, or come over and let's play checkers, whatever it is, when you build connection and refuse to give in to the narrative that the only thing that exists in this world or can exist is might, is oppression, is cruelty, then oppression wins. But if you can lean into a world that says, Mr. Rogers' mother said it, look to the helpers, right? And this morning, when I was on my walk with Gracie, I thought about my faith. I don't pray, except one prayer I do pray, the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to accept the difference, to know the difference. So wisdom, courage, acceptance, those help me lean into imagination and love and care, because to not do that and to lean into despair helps fascism and helps oppression. Harriet Tubman did not lean into despair in light of hundreds of years of enslavement of her people. She leaned into knowing there was going to be a better world, and there was a better world.
Yeah, and so two things, Aisha. One, I think you have ceded too much ground to zealots on the other political spectrum when you say, well, I don't pray and I don't meditate. You clearly are describing meditation and communication with the universe. So I think you're ceding too much ground to,
I appreciate that.
To toxic theologies.
I agree. Thank you.
But and
we should just not pray to Jesus.
Oh,
so there we go.
I'm fine with that. Right. And I'm looking at Carol's comment, and thank you for that comment, Carol. I agree, but it's so difficult right now. Worship helps me feel a sense of connection and community. And I think this is important, and I feel empathically, Carol, I'm feeling something really strongly with your comment. And it reminds me, in the book Black Liturgies by Cole Arthur Riley, one of the things she talks about the importance of liturgy is she talks about discovering the power of liturgy. It's upside down. Oh, yeah. Mine is here too. Mine is here too. But she talks about discovering the power of liturgy at a time when she was compromised. She was not feeling her best at all. And she started attending church. And what she realized is that the liturgy is a communal gift because it is communal. You can benefit from it when you don't have the words, when you don't know what practice to engage, when your imagination doesn't feel ripe for that you can be in this communal story and this communal space and be held without having to come up with it yourself.
And liturgy meaning not just the things that happen in worship,
yeah,
but literally coming from the words, the work of the people.
Well, yeah.
Right? It is the work that we're doing together in worship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That worship is a communal praxis.
Right. And so finding those places where we feel that sense of connection and community is vital to keeping our imagination alive.
Yes.
If worship is one of those places, then coming to worship, finding a community whose worship gives you that sense of connection and community. And again, we invite you to CLF worship at clfuu.org/worship on Sundays and Mondays, because you might find that connection. You might find connection to other people. You might find connection to the community that grounds you in that practice of imagining and conjuring the world that is meant to be, and not accepting the world that is just here. And one of our viewers, Valencia Robbins, says praying as a posture of living, and I like that framing too, right? I like to look at prayer as focusing on my connections, right? My connections to something greater than myself, my connections to other beings, my connections to this planet that sustains and nurtures me. Those are all prayers, and they are done through living.
Yeah, because prayer is a communication. It's communication outside of yourself to the things that you are connected to.
Well, beloveds, it is 12:59 p.m. Eastern, and we have come to the end of a fascinating conversation that went to places that I never thought we would get to, and
it happens every week.
We hope that those of you who are here live or listening to our podcast have felt a sense of connection and community to us, to each other. The conversation that's happened in our chat today has been rich. We have guests 2 out of the next 3 weeks, so I just want to let you all know that next week we are talking about radical inclusivity with Bishop Vanessa Brown from the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries.
3 out of the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, 3 out of the next 4 weeks. Yes. In the week after that, we have the knitting cult lady, Daniela Mestianek Young on, and April 2nd we have the North Omaha cat lady, Carol Ivy, who's coming to talk to us about humor, so you get to hear a lot less yapping from the hosts the next month, but
Probably more laughing though.
these should be, and just as much salt and spice.
Oh, absolutely.
These should be really fantastic conversations.
Yes.
We love you all.
Thank you all for being with us, and have the best week you can.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to everyone who gives generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible.
Visit clfuu.org/give to make a contribution.
We hope you will join us next week for another episode of the Voices of Unitarian